Hey kiddos, we're going to work on these notes about parts of a chemical equation. So for this top part of the diagram where we're going to be filling in these boxes, you have a word bank down here that's going to help you out. All right, so let's start with the easy part. This arrow right here in the middle, we know from the previous notes we did that that means produces or yields. All right, and so we can cross that out. We also know that on the left-hand side of our equation are ingredients. Those are called our reactants. And the right side, what we end up baking, is called our products. When we're looking at our numbers, we know that this big number out in front, this number 6 here, that is a coefficient. And so is this 2 here. And over here, we know that this little 2 here, as well as this little 3, those are our subscripts. All right, so then the last things that we need to figure out are our, the 3 things that we have left are gas, aqueous, and solid. And you guys are pretty smart. I think you're gonna be able to figure out which ones go which. So those are just little notations that show us and tell us what form each of the chemicals is that we're using it. So right here we have 6-HCl, which is hydrochloric acid, and it's showing us that it's in an AQ, and that means that it is aqueous. And we also see that over here with this chemical. So AQ means aqueous, and that is a fancy word to mean that it is dissolved in water. Okay. Then we also see that on some of them we have an S for solid. And we can also have a G for gas. All right, easy peasy, right? We already knew a whole bunch of that stuff. Let's look down at the second half of the page and answer these questions down here then. So it wants us to look at equations A and B and answer some questions about them. And just to remind us, we have reactants, yield, products, okay? So what are the reactants? In equation A, our reactants are H2 and O2. In equation B, our reactants are MgCl2 and Na. Whoops. What are our products? In equation A, we have just one, H2O. In equation B, we have 2, NaCl and Mg. Number 3, what do the coefficients tell you about the ratio of reactants? So that means, what do our coefficients here tell us about how much H2 and O2 we have in equation A? And we have 2 here and an invisible 1 here. And if you remember from math class, when we write a ratio, it's a number, a colon, and then another number. So in A, we have a ratio of 2 to 1. In B, it's the opposite. We have that invisible 1 to 2. Whoops, sorry. Let's erase that. For number 4, what's the physical state of the products in equation A? Here, I have an L for liquid. I know that wasn't in our diagram up top, but you're smart kids, you figured that out. And in equation B, I have AQ, which we said was for aqueous. And my Mg is a solid. All right. And then number 5, write equation A as a sentence. So I'm going to just go through and talk about what each of these things means and write it out. So I have 2 molecules of hydrogen H2 gas. So 2 molecules of H2 gas plus 1 molecule of oxygen or O2 gas my arrow means yields or makes. Whoops, forgot my L. And then I have 2 molecules of H2O liquid. And that's it for that page.